Hello, 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 hello. I'm Carl Taze Ransom, and this is season 2, episode 7 of the C Note. I'm waiting for my very special guest right now, Miss Yvette Williams, to sign on. Hopefully, she should be coming on here momentarily. Um, just spoke to her a few minutes ago, so I'm waiting for her to sign on right now before we get started. So, I hope everybody is doing well today. Um, Waiting for her to come on here. Have not seen her come on here yet, but hopefully she will be on here soon. Um, Come on now. I hope everybody has had a great day. Um, there she is right there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, Definitely. She's right there. Come on now. Be coming up on the screen.
Hello, hello, hello.
There we go. You are sideways on the screen. Turn yourself right side up.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Um, I know you're in your car because you said they had a power outage in your
Yes.
neighborhood, unfortunately. Yes,
They don't
yes.
stop nothing. They
They,
don't stop
they
nothing.
don't stop nothing. They don't stop nothing at all. We here. We gonna make this thing
We
happen. All right.
warriors around here.
We're warriors. That's right. That's right. Ain't no power outage gonna stop a thing. How y'all
Amen.
doing out there? I see people waving. That's probably friends of yours waving and stuff. You see the
I
names over
see
the
my
screen.
daughter on here. Hey, Tamika.
Hey y'all. Well, this is the C Note right here, season 2, episode 7, and this is the C Note where we keep it 100, where the real recognize real, and we also see you fake asses out there too. You know what we were talking about? We see those fake asses out there. Well, right here we have Miss Yvette Williams, also known as Mama Earth. She is a Baltimore native. She's a singer, an actress, a writer, a poet, a healer, an ambassador for Black love. She is the lady president of the UNIA-ACL Chapter 106, and so much more. I want to go on a journey with you today, Miss Yvette
Let's go.
Mama Earth. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about trauma, unhealed traumas, which is very relevant in our community, unfortunately, because there are a lot of Black people who have been dealing with trauma and unhealed traumas, dealing with whether it be how they were raised, things they were taught in different religions that may not be true, because a lot of stuff with religion is one of the things that keeps Black people arguing with each other and against each other,
Yeah.
and other stuff like that. But I want to start off with you just telling me something about your childhood and how you grew up, and then we're going to get to where you are now. Uh,
Oh, definitely. My childhood, I had a beautiful, loving mother. It was just me and my mom, and our dog.
okay.
Um, my mom passed when I was 17, and I was
Hmm.
placed in the custody of to Besley put her, not a nice lady. She took and placed me at 17. I just turned 17. I was still a baby.
Right.
And she placed me into an apartment complex. And of course, being an only child, you become lonely. You just lost your mom. And I end up having my daughter by the time I was 18 years old.
Okay. Let's
Yeah,
backtrack because I don't think you mentioned. Did you already say that your mom had passed?
yeah.
You skipped all
She
the way to
passed when I,
17.
she
Okay,
passed
well, let's go back for a
when I
second.
just turned
Okay,
17.
so how was your childhood earlier before that? I mean, when you were growing up, like as a minor, uh,
I was
like
always, yeah,
five,
I was always
10.
heavy. Yeah, I was always heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So I fell under a lot
Okay.
of bullying, a lot of bullying. And I tell people, be careful what you say out of your mouth because you don't know what you could be calling, because our words are very powerful.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I remember that the teacher announced that we were having a pop quiz. And I leaned over to the girl that was sitting next to me, and I told her, I'm afraid of math. I hope I fall down the steps and break my leg so I can't take the math test. And that's exactly what happened. I broke my legs. I had a complete fracture, both hips.
That very
And
same day?
that very same 15, 20 minutes after I said that.
Wow. So that is actual living proof of words being
Powerful.
the power of life and death is in the
Yeah.
tongue, because you said that, and then like 15, 20 minutes later, it happened.
Yeah, it did.
So that shows you how powerful your words are. You have to be careful with what you say. And I know you told me about the fact that you unfortunately lost your mom at 17 years old. How did that affect you, losing your mom at such a young age? Because even grown adults who lose their parents, they could be 50, 60 years old or whatever, and it affects them deeply. But imagine being a 17-year-old girl and losing your mother, who was the only parent there at the time for you. So tell us something about
It
how
was
that felt.
very hard. I literally watched my mom melt away. She was pretty much my air, my breath. She was everything because it was always she and me and her. And when she was no longer there, of course you feel that void at any time you lose a parent. But for you to lose your only substance that keeps you connected to life,
Right.
that a void, a real heavy void fell upon me. And that's how I believe I had my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter is on here now. I had her when I just turned 18 years old, when I should have been living my life. And being a young mother, we already don't have a book on how to be a parent. We pretty much guide through it the best we could. But me still being a child, and I was coddled a lot because it was me and my mother, and my mom catered to me. She did everything. So not only was I cast out here into a world by myself, I became a mother. And
Okay. So, did your mother, was she sick, or
yes,
was this something sudden?
she had
Okay.
breast cancer.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, she had breast cancer. And I tell women all the time, I'm in the medical field, I tell them to take care of your health. We pretty much eat what we want and not think that there is repercussions of what we place in this temple,
Right.
because that's exactly what our body is. It's a temple.
I totally
And
agree with that.
yeah, we have to be cognizant of what we put in it. You're not going to put sugar in your tank, in your car.
Oh yeah, we found out some about how harmful that white sugar in particular is bad for you. The brown sugar is better. But where was your dad in all this?
My dad and my mom separated when I was 5 years old, and that was very difficult for me because my dad took me to the zoo every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh no, she's freezing. Okay,
yeah.
you froze for a minute. Say
Oh,
it again.
I said for my dad to just leave, and he moved to North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom was devastated. My mom was devastated when she found out that he was no longer in Maryland or in Baltimore, and I was devastated too because I relied on him being around, being there, and he was no longer there. So when my mom passed away, no one should give a child an option of, we give children too much decision that adults should make those decisions. My dad should have said to me, you're going with me to North Carolina, and that's it. He gave me an option. And of course, you're going to stay where you're familiar. And I
Right.
stayed here in Maryland. But you have to sometimes we have to look at things in a different way. Had I left and went to North Carolina, would I be here on this show right now? Would I
Right.
be here in the position that I'm in currently as Mama Earth? No. So sometimes we can't question life though I do sometimes, because
Yeah.
I am spirit wrapped in this flesh. So I make
Yeah.
decisions.
We all question things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah. So
did your dad, even though he was there, did he still keep in constant touch with you and check on
yeah.
you?
Mm.
Good.
He
Good.
called. He even came up. He showed how he expressed how disappointed he was in me
Mhm.
that I was pregnant and having this baby, but I told him that this baby and I, maybe this baby was sent to me to fill the the gap or the space that mommy left.
Right.
So when I had her, that's exactly what she did. She filled that space that mommy was here and now, but I didn't still, even though she filled that space, I didn't know how to be a mom. I just knew how to
Mhm.
be a kid, a
Right.
child.
Wow. So I know you told me that you had gotten married at some point. How old were you when you got married and had more
I,
children?
I got married when I was 22, and I didn't get married for love. I got married because here I am again. This was the third baby. Okay,
Okay.
so I had one. The
Hmm.
father, he left. As soon as he found out that I was pregnant,
Right.
he came around at times. He's still involved in her life, but he did not stay with me. He did not help me through the pregnancy. He pretty much went away. And then I got pregnant again at 21. That's with my youngest daughter. And then here I'm pregnant again with a man that I barely knew. I barely knew this man, and I felt pressured into getting married because I didn't want anyone to say, well, she's had two babies and then she's pregnant
So
again
you
and
were
you
worried.
ain't gonna what
So you were worried about how people were
what
going to
people
see
told me.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
we can't worry about what other people think. If
Yeah.
you spend your life worried about what other people think, you're going to drive yourself crazy because we can't please everybody. It's about
Exactly.
how we feel and knowing how the power feels about what we're doing, right? Because
Exactly.
people are going to judge you all day, and I had to learn that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk about this whole trauma thing because, as I said at the beginning, that a lot of our people are suffering from unhealed traumas, whether it be
Exactly.
through something that happened to them growing up, stuff
Mm-hmm.
dealing with religion, because a lot, like I said, Black people spend a lot of time when we should be concentrating on empowering our people. We spend a lot of time arguing
Mm-hmm.
over different religious beliefs. This is right. This is right. This is wrong. That's wrong. Instead of focusing on getting our people out of this situation that we're in, where we're constantly being attacked. We can't afford to be attacking each other. And see, myself, I've been through some stuff as well, growing up as a little boy and dealing with how my father was. My biological father, he was abusive. He was abusive verbally and physically and stuff like that. And when I was a little boy, I, even though he was not so nice to me, I wanted him to love me, right? I wanted him to love
Mm-hmm.
me, so I wanted his love and I loved him. But by the time I got to like 13 or 14 years old, that love that I had for him turned to hatred. Okay. Um, and that hatred stayed there until I turned like 30 or whatever. And then I no longer held on to the hatred for him because I realized he had a drinking problem. He was an alcoholic and he was abusive. So I realized that the reason why he was an alcoholic in the first place is because he was trying to drink away whatever traumatized him earlier in life. He
Yes.
or else he had things that traumatized him, or else he would not have been an alcoholic. Because people who become alcoholics don't become alcoholics just because they like the taste of liquor. They become alcoholics because they kind of
Mm-hmm.
drown out something that happened to them.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to stop hating him, because I realized that he was just somebody who had his own issues that he never dealt with, and that's why it's important that we deal with the issues that we have, so we don't pass that on to our children or hurt them through that. Now I've never become an alcoholic, but I had other issues because as a little boy, because of how he mistreated me, I grew up. I could be being like 8 or 9 years old and thinking to myself, I hate myself. I wish I was dead. Now, instead of being outside playing, I'm 8, 9 years old thinking this to myself that I hate myself. I wish I was dead. And it was because of how my father was treating me. You know, but now I do love myself. And I used to have suicidal thoughts and stuff like that, but not anymore. So I could have used how he treated me to be negative towards other black people because I see that going on a lot today. I see a lot of black people attacking each other. I see black men attacking black women. I see black women attacking black men. I see black men attacking other black men and black women attacking each other with different things as well. Instead of focusing on empowering each other, I see people with platforms that use their platforms to create more division amongst black people instead of, and because these people are people who have not healed themselves or gone to get help to heal from the problems that they have. And you had some negative things happen to you in your marriage. He was a person that wasn't so nice, if I remember correctly, to you. Correct?
No, and that's what happens when you, and see, me being so young, I wasn't around people who spoke about healing the inner you or healing. So what we do, we attract other people who are in pain,
right?
Because of the hurt that we carry inside. So I carried for years the scars that were hidden. From bullying to, I never was able to heal from being bullied in school, then being bullied in the neighborhood. I never was able to heal from that. And then as an adult here, I lose my mom. I wasn't able to heal from, I healed from that. I still miss my mom, but I have a different understanding about death now. Okay. Once you get a different understanding about death, then it's not so effective,
but explain that different understanding that you have.
So when the difference is when we transition, we don't just, religion teaches you go to heaven or you go to hell. And instead of teaching you that you transition into another dimension.
Right.
I was killed or abused to the point that I died. And okay. I saw my son. I had a son that I aborted. I didn't lose him. I aborted him.
Wow.
And I saw him. Okay. He was flying a kite and he asked me, why was I there? It was not time for me to come there yet, for me to go back. And it was as if I was taken down a vortex or some type of beautiful, different color of lights. And I ended up back where I was with the person who did this to me standing over top of me. He strangled me. Yeah, he strangled me. This is the same man who raped me with things. I told you about that yesterday. Yeah, he didn't just rape me. He raped me with things. And he choked me unconscious till he had killed me. And my son told me to go back. It wasn't time for me to come there yet. And now I see why. Because there are so many people I've encountered that said that I made a difference in their life just by giving them a hug. Just by letting them know, let me tell you something. I don't look like what I've been through. And it's the reason why.
You better say that.
Right.
You better say that.
It's the reason why.
Yeah, because I almost died several years ago myself at the hands of some racist doctors or whatever that was trying to take me out of here. But I know there are people who have said that I inspire them by the way that I speak, the way that I do everything I do is to try to empower our people. Now, although you've had those horrible experiences with a black man, right? You don't take that and use that against black man as a whole.
No.
Which is something that a lot of our people do. They have some bad experiences with a black man, or some black men have bad experiences with black women, and they take that out on all black men or all black women. Or you have some black men they just don't like black women. Sometimes they have traumas that happen to them as well. Like, you had a loving, caring black mom. I have a great black mother who was a strong black woman and there for us and my siblings. But there are some children, some little black boys who didn't have a loving, caring black mother. Some little black boys had an abusive mother who was a black woman. I have witnessed little boys being talked to all kinds of crazy ways by their mother. I was, right outside of where I live at a few years ago, and I saw this little boy like 8 or 9 years old, and he seemed like he was petrified of his mother. He was lagging behind her, and she was saying, "Bring your ass up here, little motherfucker." Is my language, but she kept calling him that. She called this little boy a MF with like 10, 15 times within a span of 30 seconds. I never knew what the little boy's name was because she just kept calling him an MF. And like I said, this little boy was like 8 or 9 years old. So just imagine how that going to manifest itself in him as he grows up. Now, I'm not saying that's an excuse. Of course, I'm not saying it's an excuse for him to look at all black women in a bad way because of what his mother did to him. I'm just putting that out there to let people know, because some people seem to think that when they hear a black man talking negative about black women, that it's just because they just feel that way just because they want to. No, there's some deep-seated reasons sometimes for why that is. And we have to begin to heal each other instead of blaming each other, because we show all types of compassion and understanding to other races, but we don't always show that compassion to our own people. We're
the sum of our life experience until we learn how to heal that life experience. That's where that inner child, that inner child trauma, and some people carry inner child trauma for the rest of their lives because they don't know how to be free. That's right. Where, now I understand why my son told me that I couldn't come there yet. It wasn't time, because the universe was aligning me and giving me what the tools that I need to have to help people heal that inner child trauma.
And there's something really deep right there that you said, that a son that you aborted spoke to you and told you that it's not time for you to go, that you're needed here. Yeah. That's powerful. I never heard anybody say anything like that. That's very powerful. So I
tell people, buckle up, Buttercup, because my life is so different and powerful, because yesterday you told me that I was strong, and I told you no. Strength wears out at a time. You lift weights at the time you get tired. You can't lift weights no more because now you're tired. No, what I am is powerful. It is the power inside of me that had me come through those life experiences and still remain. Still be able to hug. Still be able to tell someone I love you. Still be able to forgive. Still be able to pray for someone. It takes power, not strength. It does.
Yes, I know you said that last night. You said it's power, not strength. Well, I choose to say strength and power, both of them. Like NDRE, she wants that strength, courage, and wisdom. She don't say power in that song. You need to put power in that song, in those lyrics. If you're familiar with NDRE.
I was listening to it on my way from work today.
That particular song?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Strength, courage, and wisdom.
It's been inside of me all along.
Yes.
That's right. And that's what I want to say about God, because I was in church and singing on the choir and stuff like that, and they teach us to believe that God is an entity that's outside of us, right? And so we go around looking for God out there, when all along God is right in here. And that's when things changed for me a lot, because I did grow up with low self-esteem and all that, and I didn't like myself, and was very self-conscious and all that. But once I realized that God lives right here in me and I could communicate with that spirit that's right within me, a lot of that changed. Now I know my worth and who I am, and I don't let anybody else degrade me or whatever else, so that's very important. But I don't want to stay on this heavy stuff too long, I know, but people need to hear this, of course, because there are people out there that are still going through their trauma, and maybe hearing this story and how you're able to triumph over that, and I'm able to triumph with what I went through, can help some people. Because like I said, a lot of these people who have, a lot of Black people who have podcasts and big followings on TikTok, I see the way they communicate, and they're definitely communicating out of their trauma. They're not doing anything to help bring Black folks together, because we keep talking about division between us and other races, right? That's what a lot of people want to concentrate on. That's not my focus, because we have so much division amongst our own people that needs to be healed first. We have to heal our own people first before we can worry about people outside of us. But you overcame all of that. When exactly, or how old were you when you did realize that you were free from all of that, or was able to stand up?
I was 42.
Okay.
I went through all, and I started talking to the Most High and saying, why did you leave me here? I mean, this world is so mean and so hateful. Why leave me here to deal with that? It wasn't bad enough I broke my legs and I couldn't walk and I was in a body cast and I lost my mother. What more do I need to experience? And and just recently I was praying and it came just so sweet. How could you tell someone how sweet ice cream is? How sweet ice cream is if you never tasted it? So that gives me an understanding why my journey has been so hard, because I am what is called a conduit for healing. I can't tell you what heartbreak is if I never went through it. I can't tell you what it is to cry if I never cried. And I done shed so many tears, man. I could feel a river or a swimming pool.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
So you finished?
No, when I turned 42, I think I was 42, I met a gentleman by the name of Arthur Burrell.
Okay.
And I thought that Arthur was crazy as a bat. He had me in the woods hugging trees. He had me in the river getting stones and putting the stones in my hand and feel the life in the stones. So, I just did it because this man said hug a tree. But
he was trying to bring you in touch with nature. Yeah.
No. When I hugged that tree, you could feel the very life in the tree.
Life in the tree, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah,
that was the key that opened my understanding of the reasons why.
Okay.
Why I am who I am. Well, I already knew. I mean, I've always, and I used to hide these gifts of seeing, and, I've been called a prophetess. I've been called all these man-made titles. I love Oracle because Oracle has a divine meaning to me. But I prefer to be called a tool that the Most High used to bring forth a message.
Exactly.
Because, people saying, can you give me a reading? Don't you do readings? And I told them, no, I am a messenger. And when I tell them things that come through, they either cry or they look at me so strange. And it's like, how would you even know that? Well, do you realize that you were created? There is nothing that the Most High do not know about you. So, and it's revealed to those who can be of service to you, because I am in service. I am used by the Most High as a tool. I've been called many things. I've been called a witch. I've been called a devil worshiper. Yes, I was called a witch. And I'm looking at this person saying, are you completely insane? You don't feel the love that I give?
Right.
So, but that's when we have to realize where they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Well, a lot of our people have been taught by the Christian church that African spirituality and us communicating with our ancestors is so-called demonic or whatever. That's because we've been stripped away from our true selves, because we, as the original people on this earth, had a direct connection to that higher power that we're often separated by through man-made religion. Our tears can serve as a transformative and cleansing waters for our spirits. Very true. Very
Very
true,
true.
Kenneth.
Very true.
Yes,
And
what
Lisa said, words
words
do hurt. They do.
they do hurt. They do hurt. I mean, like you were talking about being bullied. I was bullied in school as well, and then I had to go home and be bullied by my older brothers. So I had double bullying. I couldn't get away from it. Bullied in school, some, then bullied at home with my older brothers. So I'm good now though. I'm a
Me
strong
too.
person, you know, and that's all that matters. And I'm here now, especially being somebody that came through almost dying because I was in such bad shape that my pastor at the time when I was going to church like that gave me last rites because they thought I was going to leave here for real. Because that hospital that I was in, those doctors was trying to actually kill me because that hospital had a reputation, which I didn't know of killing off its black patients. They would use their black patients as guinea pigs and stuff like that. But I'm still here because the higher power and the ancestors have something for me to do. And that's why I do what I do with my artistry. That's why my artistry is focused on black people. And I use my artistry to portray us in healthy ways. I portray black love in my films and stuff like that and show black friendships in my films because so many filmmakers concentrate on the dysfunction in the black community instead of trying. And I know you have to show that dysfunction sometimes. You have to show the dysfunction in order to get to the healing part. But the problem is a lot of them only show the dysfunction and never get to the healing part. But here you are today, and you've come through so much.
I'm so grateful for
and you are Mama Earth. Tell me how you got that name and what it means.
Wow. I hope that she comes on here. Her name is Nelijah Brown.
Okay.
She's the owner of Florist at the Green. I think it's it's a juice. I forget the name of it, but her store is located on Charles Street and St. Paul. It's located on St. Paul, and when I first met her, she didn't have the store at that time, but I was sitting in my living room and I heard doula. I've never heard what a doula was ever in my life. I've never even heard the word doula. And when my daughter came downstairs, I asked her, I said, "What's a doula?" And she explained to me what a doula was. So I asked her, "Do you know anyone who's a doula?" And she said yes.
Well,
I said, "Do you have
explain to the audience what a doula is.
A doula is a birth assistant. You assist during the birth. You offer pain relief techniques to your patient, well, not patient, client, or to the mother who's about to give birth. And we meet with them. Wait a minute, my thing, I don't know why that is up there. We meet with them and we develop a plan on how they're going to give birth, or that, how can we be of assistance during their birth. So that's when I had met Nelijah. And when Nelijah met me, she described, I met her, I introduced myself as Yvette. So I said, "I'm Yvette, I'm Ashley's mom." And she took a step back and it's like she surveillanced me. And she said, "No, your mother may have named you Yvette, but you're Mama Earth." She said, "You're mama to everybody. You're mama to old, young, sick, well. You're just mama. So I'm going to call you Mama Earth." So whenever she would meet people, she would introduce me as Mama Earth. And it just took on I used to cry because I thought that to be called Mama Earth was the most complimentary. It was all that
I can see
to
why.
me.
Yeah. And
it was all that.
It fits you.
So when she said that, I would cry, and then when I would see her, people would say, "Mama Earth," and tears would just roll because it was tears of gratitude that someone would even see me as in that position as Mama Earth, a life giver, a helper, a healer. So that was just amazing. And I've been Mama Earth ever since. Even at my job, they call me Mama Earth, but they call me Butterfly.
Okay.
And because butterfly has a spiritual meaning, it's butterflies all over my nursery station. And when they give me presents with butterflies in it, and I just cry because I find it such an awesome experience. It's called the juice bar. Thank you, Janice. It's called the Grindhouse Juice Bar.
Okay. What zodiac sign are you again?
I'm a Pisces. Yes.
Okay, I was asking. I know because I have an older sister who's an Aquarius, and she loves butterflies too. She has
Really,
butterflies all over her house. That's what made me think of her. And she's an
really.
Aquarius. That's why I asked.
And, but
Yeah.
they appear, and they have been the reason why butterflies are so significant to me is because they appear anytime I'm in doubt, anytime I'm in fear, or I'm trying to make a decision. They just appear. I had surgery a couple of years ago, and my spiritual godmother told me that I was a big deal in the spirit realm. And so when I went to surgery, I was alone. And I said, well, if you're here, show me. Let somebody say something about butterflies, or let somebody, you know, somebody have butterflies when they close. I don't know why my phone tripping. My phone is tripping, and all these letters going across my phone. I don't know.
People
And
commenting?
huh?
It's people commenting. If you see the
No, it's just like
comment.
it's as if I'm commenting and there's nothing there. We ain't worried
Oh,
about
okay.
it. Like I said, nothing stops nothing.
No, it
Nothing.
doesn't. Not at
We
all.
keep going.
We know who we are.
So
Yeah.
that's right. So when I had the surgery already, and I was in recovery, and a nurse that I never met, and the shift didn't change. So this nurse, she pinched my big toe, and she winked at me. She said, "Hey, butterfly, you can wake up now." And I prayed silently in my head. I didn't yell it out. I didn't scream it out. I just said, if you're here, show me. And when I went to recovery, came out to recovery, here's this nurse whispering, "Butterfly, butterfly, you can wake up
Yeah.
now." So they always appear. Always. Always.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Well, you told me that as a little girl, you always been into music or singing and interested in acting and all that. And, you told me that you were a singer and an actress, and it's something that you hadn't been doing for a while, and you want to start to use those gifts again, which I'm very excited about. And we're going to be working together at some point as well. So, what do you have coming up in the artistic realm right now?
I wanted to audition for the Nina Simone play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still juggling with it because there is so much on my plate with me being lady president of the UNIA,
Yes,
and
which we're
along
going to
with
talk
me,
about. Yeah.
yeah, and along with me building a holistic practice, basically focusing on the inner trauma. That's why
Mm-hmm.
my business is called Life's Journey, because we take a journey through this world. It's a journey for us. Life Journey, holistic services, healing the inner you, healing that inside so
Yes.
that you can grow.
Right.
So I want to put a lot into that because people are hurting. During COVID, so many people lost family members, and they suppressed those
Mm-hmm.
emotions instead of dealing with them. I have a client now that's a male, and I told him, we always put these men in
Universe.
a box
The
where they can't express
universe.
themselves.
Okay. The universe will always give you a sign. We got to have our antenna ready
To
to receive
receive
the
the
messages.
message.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
he put a little butterfly. He put a little butterfly right there for you in the corner too. That's what's up,
Thank
too.
you so
Yeah.
much. Yes, yes. I'm being shown signs all the time. All the
Hmm.
time. Just by hanging on, and though the struggle has been hard, but I tell people all the time, is there any warriors or soldiers put on the front line that are unprepared? So in order for us to fight a spiritual warfare or physical warfare, we have to go through the proper training,
Yeah.
right? So
Exactly.
that's what
Absolutely.
life takes you through. It takes you through the training. It takes, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, I've been in basic training for a long old time, man, and I've just
Woo!
been something
Same
else.
here.
It's been something else.
Yeah, that's why I fight like I do. There's no quitter in me. I don't quit at all. I'm going to keep going, and going through so much in childhood that helps you to be like that, Um,
Yes.
absolutely. So, you did tell me about a play that you were cast in. What's happening with that exactly?
Well,
Because we want to come
the
see you.
because of the health diagnosis recently of the producers,
Oh, okay.
she's dealing
Okay, I
with
didn't know that.
something.
Mm-hmm.
So what I told her is take care of yourself. That
God,
play will
that's important.
be
Right.
that's important.
That's
That
most
play
important.
will happen. If it is
Mm-hmm.
the will of the Most High, it will happen. But you have to take
Right.
care of self. So I'm now, preparing for. Um, I'll be opening my own
Oh, yeah.
podcast. I
Yes.
think
Yes.
that's how you express it.
Ladies and
Um,
gentlemen, Yvette has a podcast that she'll be starting. You said this Friday, if I'm correct?
this
This Friday?
Friday, yes,
And what's the name
yes.
of your podcast?
It's called Free Yourself Fridays. We go through the whole week and it give you a chance for me to speak into your spirit. And sometimes during the times I speak to your spirit, the spirit will have me have a message for you. And so it's the Free Yourself Fridays. It will be on Lady J's platform on What's Up Baltimore. And I'll be joining that team of podcasters. I never did that before, so I'm stepping out
Well,
there.
welcome to the podcast world. And what time will Free Yourself Fridays be on? What time
It'll
will you?
be 7 to 8 o'clock.
7 to 8 o'clock. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Free Yourself Fridays with the podcast hostess, Miss Yvette, Mama Earth Williams. Free
I'm
Yourself Fridays from
excited.
7 to 8 p.m. You should be. I'm excited for you. I'll be tuning in, definitely. And you are the lady president of a very important organization that was founded by the great Marcus Mosiah Garvey back in 1914, I believe. And it was an organization that he founded to bring about unification between Africans across the globe, whether we be Africans born in America, Africans born in the Caribbean, which is where he's from, Africans born in on the continent, or wherever, Australia, Britain, wherever we are. He was about trying to unify our people. I don't know if the gentleman president, Mr. Everett, is on here or not, but if he is, he could join you on screen because this allows you to have 3 other people on screen. So if he is on here listening, Mr. Everett, you can come on here and join us. But if not, we'll talk to you about it. Now, it's very important to talk about this organization because he was about bringing our people together across the diaspora. There is this thing with some black folks who want to divide us, again, between religious beliefs and stuff like different sexual orientations and so forth, right? Now, Malcolm X, who's somebody that I look up to and admire, and I've had the honor of portraying Malcolm X before many times. He had a speech called The Ballot or the Bullet, where he spoke in that speech about the fact that his religion is, being a Muslim. But he said, as far as what he believed in life was being a black nationalist. And he said that when we come together as a people to empower our people, that we should leave certain discussions out of the room, like religion. Because when we get to talking about religion, we start arguing back and forth about it. Like, this is right, this is wrong, that's right. Whose religion is right over whose. He says, so we should leave that out of the room. There are other things we should leave out of the room as well. Now, both Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., were both good friends with the writer James Baldwin. Okay, James Baldwin is someone who everybody knows was a quote unquote homosexual. I use the term same gender loving because that term came from a black man by the name of Dr. Cleo Monago. You can look Dr. Cleo Monago up, and he's a brother that fights for black people, for all black people. I don't personally use the terms like gay and queer. I don't use that at all. I say same gender loving because it came from a black man and it also has the word love in it, and it's more culturally affirming. Now, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were both friends with James Baldwin, and they knew about his sexual orientation. People want to debate about whether or not it's a choice or not. I can say personally, I didn't choose it. I spent years of my life praying and begging God to change me. I didn't want to be same gender loving. I wanted to be heterosexual, and I pleaded with God to make me heterosexual for years. And then I realized the reason why God did not change that because it's not God that had a problem with me. And people throw out this word lifestyle, which I get tired of hearing that word lifestyle as it pertains to a sexual orientation, because the definition of lifestyle is the way in which a person or a group of people live. Now, you can't say how a person lives their life based on a sexual orientation. Do all black heterosexuals live the same way, think the same way, do the same things, have the same moral compass? No, they do not. And it's the same thing for same gender loving black people as well. We don't all think alike. We don't all do the same things. We don't all have the same thoughts or moral compass. I know when they throw out the word lifestyle, they like to try to make that seem like we're all out here just sleeping around or whatever. But if that's their business, because a lot of heterosexuals sleep around too. But for me personally, I haven't been sleeping with anybody, not for several years now. I've chosen to be celibate because I'm at this point in my life where I don't even want to be doing that with somebody unless I'm seriously involved with them. I have to have a serious connection with somebody to do that. Now, there's a lot of people that want to divide us based on different religious beliefs and sexual orientations. And we need to stop that. So I want you to speak on that, being lady president of the UNIA, and how Marcus Garvey wanted to bring all of our people together, and we need to stop this division on stuff like sexual orientation and different religious beliefs. And the fact that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, somebody that we all respect and look up to, didn't turn away from James Baldwin because of his sexual orientation, because he was fighting for black people. He was fighting for black people, you know? So how do you feel about all of that?
Well, I feel like this. One, who are we to judge another? Who? Because at the end of the day, our blood still run red. If we die, we turn into ashes, regardless of your sexual orientation, regardless of your skin color. We live, we die, we transition. So who are we to judge another? And seeing what it happens when you become judgmental with people, those who are on the same mission as you, it delays the mission.
Exactly.
It stops.
Exactly.
It stops it. So we can't judge another. You know, I used to be judged on so many things. I used to be heavy. Then once I lost the weight, people telling me I'm too small. So you have to, the acceptance is within yourself. You have to accept you, love you regardless. And so when we are judgmental on and exclusive, we delay the process. We delay the mission.
Exactly, because not all, I mean, we have a lot of black heterosexuals that are fighting for black people. But by the same token, we have some black heterosexuals that don't give a damn about the liberation of black people. And on the other side, we have both on the other side as well. We have same gender loving people who don't give a damn about the liberation of black people, but we also have same gender loving black people that are fighting for black people with everything that they have. And it's right, and it's not right. It is not right for some black people to say or try to diminish somebody else's blackness because of their sexual orientation. I give my all to black people. Everything I do is about black people. All of my films are about trying to empower us and showing black men and black women loving each other and black friendships. Everything I do is about trying to empower black people. And I'm not going to allow somebody else try to tell me that my blackness is not worth anything because of my sexual orientation, which I did not choose. Okay? I'm not going to allow that. And people want to call names and stuff like that or try to say somebody is less than a man. I'm a man because I'm man enough to speak up and tell the truth. I'm not hiding from anybody. Okay? Right. and I speak up for black people all day. I speak up more boldly for black people than a lot of other black people do. And some black folks get on me, both black heterosexuals and some black homosexuals get on me for being so outspoken about having a black first mentality. So I get it from both sides. But I'm not going to let black heterosexuals or black homosexuals stop me from being black first. I'm black first all day, every day, and I'm going to always be that way because that's what I'm called to do. That's what the Creator called me to do. That's what the ancestors called me to do. And I'm not going to let any, because me being an actor and a screenwriter and all that kind of stuff myself, I get ostracized because I speak out for black people. And some people see me as, you know, the black sheep, so whatever, to speak in the family or whatever, because I do speak out. And some people are just concentrated on trying to get their bag or trying to get to the Oscars or whatever. And I used to want those awards when I was growing up and stuff like that. When I was growing up, I wanted the Oscars and stuff like that. But now I don't really give a damn about that. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. My main focus is to have work out there that really speaks about something, that really shows black people in a positive light. And it's not about trying to change other races' minds about us. It's about how we see each other as black people, because that is where our power is and how we see ourselves. That's what will make us stand up for ourselves when we love ourselves. There's too much self-hatred out here. We give so much love. And see, I'm not called to do films to try to inspire black people to love white folks or whatever, because quite frankly, we already show love and compassion to white folks. We show more love to them than we do to our own people, right? So I've been called to use my artistry to empower our people, to show us loving each other, to show black men and black women in healthy relationships, and even black men in relationships loving each other, and not the same old stereotypical stuff, the way that's portrayed as well. Because there is an attack on black love, whether it be between black men and black women, whether it be between two black men or two black women, there's an attack on. And people want to separate us no matter what the sexual orientation is. And I've been through police brutality. And when I went through police brutality, I went through that police brutality because I'm a black man. They didn't stop to ask me my sexual orientation when they attacked me. When I was physically assaulted by racist white cops, they didn't stop to ask me that question. It don't matter. When you're black, no matter the sexual orientation. And I'm always black first, you know, and I'm not going to let anybody diminish my blackness because of my sexual orientation. You know, I'm not a stereotype. I'm me. And that's only one aspect of me. So when someone's sexual orientation is just one aspect of them, it doesn't define you. And it doesn't say what kind of a person you are. You know what I'm saying? You got trifling people everywhere.
All of that was by design. Anyway, when the slaves, they couldn't control the slaves, they reached out to Willie Lynch. And Willie Lynch, he wrote in his Willie Lynch speech, you know, certain things that they could do to control their slaves. So when you damage your DNA, it doesn't go, it don't disappear. You know, all that abuse that happens then, that was trauma. And when you are traumatized, so is your descendants. They might not know the type of trauma that they inherited, but they inherited trauma too. So once you know that the trauma that black people underwent, then you'll know that you need to be healed. Most of you black people out here need to go under some type of healing because some damage was done to your DNA.
Right.
You know, they say, well, why black on black crime and black on black crime? Black on black crime was by design.
Right. Well, yeah,
it was by design.
Yeah, they purposely did things to target us, like planting drugs in black neighborhoods and all the other kind of stuff, so that we would be against each other and fighting and stuff like that. But we have to stop giving them that power. And we have to start looking at each other with compassion. Because, again, like I said, we always looking at white folks with compassion no matter what they do to us. They can kill us in cold blood and we give them love and compassion. But a black person can do something that's not even that serious, just disagree with somebody, and we hold grudges against our own people over small stuff. We hold grudges, and we have to stop doing that. We have to start empowering each other and healing each other and not keep re-traumatizing each other as a people.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't want to stay on that too much longer. I know some people may have got put off by that, but I got to speak the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm black all day. You know that. And you know, and when I got some people on here, this is a little shameless plug. I'm a filmmaker. If you want to see some of my work, I have a film right now on a black-owned streaming service called Stream DMV, and that's because all of the work on there is basically from black filmmakers from the DMV area, from D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. And I have a film on there right now that's called The Eternal Extra, and you will see what I'm about just by looking at that film. They don't make you subscribe to the platform. They give you the option to rent the film for $3.99. And it's called Stream DMV, and my film is called The Eternal Extra. So please support that platform and support my film, definitely. But I'm gonna get off me now and get back to you. So, you know the auditions are coming up soon, that you mentioned. So,
Yeah.
when are you gonna make your final decision? Because it's this.
I said between tonight and tomorrow, I mean, because I listen to Nina Simone and I try to mimic her voice. You know, some voices are unique.
Yeah.
Hers is one of them.
Definitely.
Hers is one of them. So I'm listening with my earbuds in and trying to mimic her voice, though, my son and I, we actually do characters sometimes. That's how weird we can be.
That's not weird. That's not weird.
He changes his voice and he sounds just like this old man, like an old man.
Okay.
And, the way that he thinks that he'll say, and we're going to go back and forth, but I'm trying to get into character whereas though I can audition, but I'm looking forward to being a part of your plays, your movies, your production. I know that we wasn't introduced for nothing. I know everything happened for a reason.
Oh, I know. I met you under a not so happy circumstance.
Yeah.
But I had saw you before that online, but I actually met you face to face at Brother Musa's funeral on the repast or whatever. And he was a great brother as well. Definitely. Yeah.
He still is. His energy is still alive.
Yeah, he's still here. So I shouldn't use the word. Was. He is a great brother. He still is a great brother. Most definitely. Well, I've been encouraging you to go for Nina Simone. Even if you don't, you definitely will be doing something with Royal Who's Melanin Manor, my theater company, which we don't have our own building yet, so we got to use other people's spaces. But I hope to have my own space one of these days.
Oh, definitely. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, definitely. She said so true. I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know what she was saying so true in reference to. What were you saying?
Thank you for coming in. Thank you guys for so much. The ones that are here, I really appreciate you. I told you to come on, make comments, just to support this brother's live and encourage me, because I tell people that I once was introvert, very shy, scared to say anything. But then it came to me one day. I was standing. I had a message to give to this pastor. I wasn't giving that pastor that message because I knew that pastor would look at me like, "Who are you? Who called you to be a prophet or whatever?" But I had to give him the message anyway. I gave him that message because the Spirit said, "In fear, I cannot use you. In fear, what good are you to me? Because I might need you to go forward, and you're too scared to go and say." So that kind of bothered me to hear that in my spirit. And I said, from now on, whatever is I need to say, I'm saying it. Whether people want to receive it or not, well, they know that I don't know. So they had to come to something saying, well, she couldn't have known this. So it had to have been a higher being or a higher force to give her this information. So I'm no longer afraid. I get a little nervous. I was a little nervous about this right here. But I had to say, I'm stepping out no matter what, no matter how. I'm stepping out because this door was open for me. It wasn't open for nothing. It's open for
Absolutely.
a reason.
I mean, yeah, it's human to get a little nervous sometimes because of just being human.
Mhm.
But as they say, God did not give us the spirit of fear. But a lot of times we let stuff make us scared or whatever. So I'm glad that I mean, and I understand you might have been nervous, but you're doing great. You've been absolutely a wonderful guest. You have a powerful story. Absolutely. And I'm not going to put you on the spot because I could ask you to do one of your poems because you're also a poet right now. But I don't know if you have like any short poems that you could recite right quick. Or...
They actually are in the apartment.
Okay.
All of my poetry are
You don't know
spirit
what?
led. But one thing I want to say to you, one day I was at work and I was sitting in my car and the spirit told me to look left. So I looked left and there was a tree that had fell over, but yet there was a part of the tree still connected to it fell over, but it was like a branch connected to this tree. And I said, I wonder how that branch stay alive and it's still growing.
Mm-hmm.
And Spirit said it's connected to the source.
Wow.
We have to stay connected to the source.
Absolutely. Connected to that source, which is the ancestors in that higher power.
Exactly.
Definitely. Always. And I see he put Speak It Real right there. All right, Speak It Real. That's the name of my first film. Speak It Real. Which was about a strong black family.
A lot of the poetry are I was suicidal at one point, and that was how I was able to pull out what I was feeling inside and wrote it on paper. So that's when Spirit said, whenever you feel as if you have no voice, speak it out on paper. Speak it, allow yourself to release it out on paper. That's when I started writing poetry, because I was bullied really, really bad at 13. And it was at 13 I started writing poetry. I just started writing words. And those words were inside of my heart: lonely, sad, miserable, die, no love. And they became a form of words into sentences. And I started reading them back and I was like, hey, that sounds good. And what made me continue to write, I got a message from Maya Angelou. She was in Johns Hopkins Hospital, and my daughter's godmother was her doctor's secretary. And so she told Maya Angelou that she inspired me to write, and she told my daughter's godmother, tell her to keep writing.
Oh, you did that well. You might be playing Maya Angelou one of these days. We're going to do a play and you're going to be Maya Angelou. Okay.
And it would be an absolute honor.
So I know it would be. I feel absolutely honored whenever I portray Malcolm X too. So I understand that. And I communicate with him whenever I am about to portray him. I talk to him, when I'm about to go on stage and be him. I don't take that lightly. But you never told me that is that Lisa? That you ever told me that you met Maya Angelou? Absolutely. She loves to write. What do you write, Lisa? Does it say Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
What do you write? You write screenplays, poetry, songs, what? All of the above?
And she's also an energy that is absolutely amazing. We met in a park. Mm-hmm. We were instructed to stand in front of each other. And Lisa, I still remember this. We had to speak to each other as if we were the perpetrator that committed the hurt, asking for forgiveness. That was amazing sisterhood that we met out in Drew Hill Park. It was her name is Deborah. I forgot her last name, but she was a life coach. She's a life coach. I'm a poet and no one knows it.
All right now. We might have you on here one day. Might call you on here one day. Might call you on here one day to recite some of your poetry. Okay? And writing is definitely a powerful tool.
It was an amazing, it's several ways that we have to heal. Even if we write a letter to our perpetrator, mm-hmm. Deborah Ricks That's it. She had out in the park, we had a women's circle out there in Drew Hill Park. And that was the first time I was able to forgive the person who hurt me, who hurt my children, and caused me to lose my children. I lost my children, and my children and I have never been able to get that back, that closeness, that relationship. Now, my youngest son and I are close, and my oldest daughter and I are close, but I have two who I tell them all the time, I understand why you don't like me. Because in me being your mother, you received harm. All I don't understand is why we won't fix it.
Yeah, well, hopefully they will get to a point in life, you know, before it's too late, where they will be willing to come and talk.
I haven't seen my daughter in 4 years now. I haven't seen my daughter in 4 years. No communications, nothing. And my son, when we communicate, it's always, I mean, to be frankly honest, called out of my name, my house vandalized, or where I lived vandalized. So, and I tell him, I understand. But what I don't understand is why we can't fix it. We can fix it.
Yes,
we can fix it by forgiving. And I tell them, it's called a prayer called a Ho'oponopono prayer. And all you're asking is, forgive me. I love you. And you're telling them to forgive you. You're telling them that I've hurt you. And I'm asking that you forgive me. I forgive you. And that's what it takes for us to forgive one another. Because if you don't, you're going to hold that wound for the rest of your life. And the next thing you know, you're going to be looking down at that person. All you had to say was, I'm sorry. That's
exactly.
all.
That's all. Takes is just the nerve to say it. Some people are scared to say it because they think they might be hurt again or things like that. So, but you got to take that chance.
Yes, you
like you said, we can't live in the fear, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I know forgiveness is hard. It's very hard. It's not easy at all. But
you have to keep in mind. You keep in mind that forgiveness is not for that person, really. It's for you.
Right.
It's you snip the weights off of your feet when you say, I forgive you. I forgive you. No one said that you fall back in the trap over and over again.
Oh, no. Not that.
Yeah. you don't, just because you forgiving them, now mean you walking in and say, okay, you can hurt me some more. Go ahead. No, you forgiving. The forgiveness is for you. Actually, it's not for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know how hard forgiveness is. But it's a must that we do it, I guess, for our own peace of mind. But when I say that, I'm just talking about between black people. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm talking about black people forgiving each other. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's important that we forgive each other so we can stand up and be empowered in our own skin, and that's what I'm about.
So we can grow as a mighty force. That's what's been going on with us anyway, because everybody knows how powerful black people are. The melanin in our skin gives us power. The very melanin in our skin gives us power. So it is strategic for us to be against one another, because once we come together, a mighty force.
Oh yeah, they know how powerful we are if we was to love ourselves and each other and came together. That's a company that destroyed places like Black Wall Street in Rosewood and Seneca Village in New York, which is now Central Park in New York, and so many other places, because there were a lot of black communities across the country that were destroyed because of jealousy and hatred, because they saw how we were thriving on our own without them, and they didn't like that. But this has been, I don't know how long we've been here for a while, but this has been such a great conversation. I definitely will be inviting you back on here again. Yes, I will. And, I might pop up on yours if you invite me. You
would be invited. Absolutely. We need to have many survivors of abuse. We need many survivors of mental health. You know, we need all of that. That's why this platform was open, so that a healing can take place, and not just a healing within yourself, in the Black community as a whole.
Right.
We need healing.
Absolutely. I talk about that all the time. I talk about us healing us all the time. I know that. And that's what I try to do through my films, is showing us loving each other and being thought-provoking with what I do. So I'm very intentional with what I write. Have to be.
I do want to mention this. I plan on going all over Baltimore. I'm being guided to the Pennsylvania Avenue by Lawrence to have people come out. I'm going to have a bullhorn, and I'm calling those that healing in the community. I'm calling those spirits of drug addiction to bow down and come down. All of those walls that have been surrounding us, we're breaking them down. And I ask those who are on this call, I'm calling for pastors, I'm calling for babalaos, I'm calling for priestesses. Come out there with me, because this is a spiritual warfare that we're fighting. Spirit can only fight against spirit. Flesh can't fight against spirit, because they will be demolished.
Absolutely.
So I'm calling priestesses, holy women, praying women. Come out there on them corners with me and shut it down.
Well, just let me know when, and if I'm available, I'll be there. Definitely. Definitely. I'm all about that.
Please do.
Us healing us. Always about us healing us and empowering us, and us loving us. Absolutely. I'm blackity black, 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 black all day.
All day.
And I'm not ashamed to say I'm blackity black, black, black.
And green.
The red, black, and green. I mean, you can't see it now, but you could probably see it at the top of this before this covered everything up. I have that red, black, and green flag right behind me, but it's right here where I live at. And I had a ring. I can't find the ring that I had that looked like the red, black, and green flag that I got from Everyone's Place, which is another black-owned spot on North Avenue.
I love that. That's my second home.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Everyone's Place.
Shout out to Everyone's Place. Oh, the African Liberation coming on the 27th in Lafayette Park. Please come out. Please, 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 please come out.
The 27th of April?
The 27th of May.
Of May. Okay.
Yeah. It's the African Liberation Movement. We are asking anyone and everyone. We're also doing the Juneteenth right there on Harlem in the Harlem Park, because the new UNIA home is the Harlem Theater.
All right now. And I'm supposed to be calling that sister too. I have to get in touch with her. All right. Definitely, I'll be there. Absolutely. And this has been such a great and powerful conversation. And those who are watching, you'll be able to, this is going to be right here on Instagram. It's also going to be on Facebook, because I have a Facebook page for the Thecnote, and I also have a YouTube channel for the Thecnote where all the episodes are, as well as on the Facebook page. So I ask people to please go, and I think I have it in my bio, the link to the YouTube page. I need as many people as possible to go subscribe to the Thecnote YouTube channel.
Subscribe, y'all.
Yeah, and follow the Thecnote Facebook page as well, please. It's in my bio here and on the Thecnote page. Definitely. Thank you so much, my goddess queen sister. You are a powerful woman. You are an amazing Black queen. You've been through so much and have triumphed, and I'm so happy and proud and honored to know you. Absolutely.
I'm proud and honored to know you too, and I thank you so much for welcoming me on this platform. Thank you, and I encourage you. You call Mama Earth, you call Butterfly, you call Yvette. She's coming. She's coming.
All right now, and I can't wait to see what you do on stage. Let the world know that singing ability and that acting talent that you have.
I'm grateful.
It's time. It's time.
Yes, it's time. It's time. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you, everybody. Love y'all. I got to try to click you off of here so I can get off here. But like I said, I'm going to save it on here. And then I'm also going to have this same episode on Facebook on the Thecnote page and as well as on YouTube. So it'll be here on Instagram for those who want to go back and watch it. And it'll also be on Facebook and YouTube as well. And again, the links for the YouTube page and the Thecnote Facebook page are in the bio on this page. So just click those links and please subscribe. Definitely. Follow. I appreciate you again. I love you, my sister.
Love you.
My goddess queen sister. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank
and
you
God bless
very
you.
much.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye now.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye. Hey, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. That was a great episode. Hopefully, I will see you next Tuesday, and I'll be announcing who my next guest will be. Thank you, and I love you all. Good night, y'all. Bye-bye.